Hey guys, welcome to today's reading. This one is all about some good news heading your way. We're going to figure out what good news you need to be aware of. Today we have a selection of different crystals for you to choose from. So if you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm so happy to have you. Basically, you're going to see which of these crystals is sticking out to you, calling your name, drawing your attention in towards it. And then as soon as you make up your mind, just scroll down to the timestamps in the comments and the description and jump right into your pile. By the way, if you like how I read tarot and you want to see more of it, then be sure to head to my Patreon where I post all my additional readings. I just posted a reading all about your next glow up, and there's also one about your future spouse. But as soon as you sign up, you'll get access to over 90 exclusive readings you'll only find on Patreon, and you also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. So if you're interested in checking that out, head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments and the description and join me on Patreon. Also, if you're interested in booking a private session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. Whether you're looking for a tarot reading, an astrology reading, or an open channeling session, you get to really customize your session so it's the perfect one for you. So if that sounds good and you want to book a slot with me, then like I said, go to my website, briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is in my description. So thanks for watching, guys. Now, if you need more time to decide, you can totally feel free to rewind, pause, and take as much time as you need, but we're going to go ahead and jump into pile one. Hey guys, welcome to today's reading. So if you guys picked this attachment card, Longing Desperation, this is going to be your reading. So we're also going to pull some more oracle cards for you guys to see what's going on and what kind of beautiful blessings are going to be heading your way. Let's get into that for pile number one, Spirit. What can pile number one expect as far as good news that they are going to be receiving soon? So we got travel, change in location, journey guide. So for some of you guys, this could be a new place, a new location, or even like a move within your career or a change in your living situation that may introduce you to something totally different. I even feel like for some of you guys, this could be like finding a new hobby or finding something that just really fills your soul, fulfills you on such a deep level that's almost like from a very unexpected place that you wouldn't think to look. So maybe like you were never into a certain type of music, and then suddenly next thing you know, you're like a huge fan, you're going to shows, you're meeting people that way, and you're a part of that like fan base, or you're a part of that crowd. Like maybe you're into the punk rock scene suddenly, and that introduces you to so many new people. But I do feel like for you guys, this is very much about expanding your horizons, introducing yourself to something new. Let's get into some more cards for you. Pile number one. What good news is going to be coming pile number one's way? Sensitivity and strength, tapping the forces within. Okay, let's get a couple cards. Achievement, completion, reward, and we also got creation, soul expression, something new. Yeah, because I feel like so much of this energy that I'm picking up on is about you using your creativity and almost like finding a part or a piece of yourself that maybe you gave up on a long time ago. Like maybe you were super creative and you loved to write when you were a kid, and now that you're an adult, you're like, oh yeah, I don't have time to do that, or you know, I'm not that good at it. I thought I might be a writer one day, but now I realize how hard that is to do. So I just kind of realized it's not for me. And this may be picking up writing again. I almost feel like there's a healing happening with your inner child. And it's funny because the fifth house in astrology is the house of both your creative hobbies and of any children you may have. So really those are so intermixed and intermingled, maybe because that part of ourselves that's like loves to create is like, oh my gosh, I did this, I did that. That's a very childlike part of them, a part of ourselves. Like think about when you're a kid, how maybe you have ballet on Tuesdays and then soccer on Wednesdays, and then you're painting during, you know, your art class on Friday, and then you have, a play date with your friends, and instead of sitting around and just watching TV, you guys are out at the playground and you're trying to do the jungle gym and you're pretending to be like a champion gymnast. And you know what I mean? Like there's so much of that unbridled possibility that we feel when we're a kid that I feel like gets sucked out of us as an adult, and we start feeling like I just have to focus on work, I just have to focus on my job, all my obligations. And I feel like this is like really restoring that beautiful young part of yourself that like saw the world as endless possibility, saw the world as like, what if? And maybe this is even just allowing yourself to dream that big and allowing yourself to realize how much potential you do have, or realize how much you can like bring to this world. Sometimes I feel like when we get into that really regimented schedule, like we're just, okay, get my coffee, have a small breakfast, go to work all day, come home, cook something, maybe watch an hour of TV. It's like that schedule can feel so soul deadening, and we can really lose sight of ourselves. And in a way, this could even be talking about getting more balance when it comes to that, when it comes to your career. Sometimes I think we think, well, I just have to push myself. I just have to work as hard. I just have to like go, 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 go. When the reality is that sometimes that can be the way that we really lose sight of ourselves, and we end up maybe putting out worse work or not doing as good of a job as if we like gave ourselves that space to rest, to rejuvenate. And rest, I don't just mean through sleeping and getting 8 hours of sleep, but also through like making sure that we are taking the time to fill our souls, whether that's spending time with a loved one. If you have a partner, making sure that you're spending time with them and doing fun things with them. If you have, if you love to like go for walks like me, I literally love to walk. And anyone who's like close to me, actually like a close friend or in a relationship, learns that I'll be like, do you want to go for a walk? And it's always like an hour at the end of the day. That's my ideal walking time. I love to walk. So for me, maybe it's that, whatever it is for you, whatever that thing is that brings you back to yourself and makes you feel more yourself, I feel like you're going to really be prioritizing that. And there is this message from spirit that like only you can make that choice, like only you can choose to trust the universe, because really it is about trust. I think whenever we're in an energy where we feel like we have to perform, or we have to do this, or no, of course I couldn't take time off from work, or of course I couldn't, like actually take a little bit of a step back with how hard I work all the time, or of course I couldn't like carve out this space in my life. What it is like a scarcity mindset. It's not trusting the universe. We can say all day long, oh yeah, I trust and I have an abundance mentality. But if we're like breaking our back and we're never allowing ourselves to take a break, and we feel like we're trapped in a cycle where we have to, then that is totally not trusting. So sometimes it's about just choosing like, you know what, I am going to go ahead and trust this feeling. I am going to go ahead and trust myself, trust the universe, trust the forces around me and within myself that I can do this. And maybe questioning, why do I think that? Because sometimes, when we feel like we have to be working so hard, or we have to put out a certain volume, it also comes down to like trauma from childhood or past lifetimes. Maybe we feel like, I'm not good enough unless I'm performing. Maybe in our family role, like our parents always expected us to be helping out. And if we were chilling on the couch, they'd freak out. And we learned that we had to be, contributing something in order to have worth. And sometimes it's about taking that energy back and realizing I'm okay just as I am. And I don't need to like put myself in an unhealthy level or an unhealthy situation in order to make someone love me or make someone like me. I can just exist exactly as I am and be in a place of peace and calm and feel good. And that's when maybe the best expression comes. Maybe that's when like the happiest, most joyful, best product comes out of us, I guess. Like if we're trying to make art, maybe it's when we're the most peaceful is actually when we will be able to paint exactly what we always dreamed of, or maybe it's when we are really feeling aligned with our career, that we're going to put out a product and that is super high quality that people absolutely love and gravitate to. So sometimes it's being willing to have that bravery and to take that step back. And I feel like that's something really beautiful that's coming your way. This could be a lot more balance, or getting freed up, like having your boss tell you, you know, hey, by the way, take the weekend off, or maybe someone coming into your life to bring you into a relationship so that you just are like, oh my gosh, my weekends now, I like so look forward to them, and I leave exactly at 5 and I can't wait. And it almost might force you to balance more of your work life so you're not just doing this workaholic thing. Let me get some tarot cards for you. Pile number 1, we want to know what good news they can be looking forward to. So we got the 3 of Pentacles. This is another work energy. So this definitely shows that like a lot of these good news are coming in through your workspace, through your work arena of life. So it could be, like I said, a lot more balance, and learning how to work with others as well. We see that with the 3 of Pentacles. There's such a cooperative energy. And then that's followed up as well by the 2 of Cups. And the 2 of Cups can talk about finding a person or finding someone you have something so much in common with, you know. The 2 of Cups can be literally finding a romantic soulmate or like a really good friend that you just vibe with. And I do feel like Spirit is wanting you. Maybe this could also be about something healing in your heart when it comes to trusting others. Because I feel like there's a message that some of you guys do have a childhood trauma or past life trauma. And it's almost like you've been a little bit of an island, or you kind of have that, you know how this was a thing on like Tumblr for a really long time, but there would be like shirts that would say like trust no one, or things like trust no one. I don't even know, looking back, I'm like, what a dark slogan. Like, it seemed cool at the time, but why was that a slogan? Like, geez. But yeah, I'm getting that vibe around you guys where like you don't trust easily, or you don't open your heart up, or if someone steps towards you, you might be constantly scanning them for like, do they have ulterior motives? Are they up to something? What's going on with them? And this could be about realizing how amazing it is to trust. And I'm hearing a message from Spirit just intuitively that like, if you're worried about your heart being broken, just know that's not even possible. Your heart cannot be broken. And as a soul, you are untouchable. I always think that's the coolest thing about doing like mediumship readings, is talking to someone on the other side, and you can just feel that like they are completely healed of things that used to bother them in this lifetime. Maybe they still are, you know, usually they're still aware of it. Like they might be able to point out like, oh, by the way, I was really upset because of this happening, but they no longer are emotionally trapped by it. If there was a man who was like really violent with his kids because he had trauma because he served in like the Vietnam War, so he was violent with his children because he had PTSD. That violent, angry guy will show up. Sometimes people are shocked and they'll be like, wait, that's him, because he was so aggressive in life. And I'm like, oh, he's like super sweet now. And is he really funny? And they'll be like, yeah, I mean, that's his personality, but I don't know, he was so angry. And it's almost like you get scrubbed clean. And I just love that message, because it's like even the most traumatizing thing, even that thing we think that like, oh, that's a part of me now, it's like Spirit's like, no, nope, it gets completely removed. It's kind of like sometimes you'll watch those carpet cleaning videos on like TikTok or YouTube shorts, and they're cleaning like the dirtiest, nastiest carpet that's like completely dark brown with dirt. And in, you know, just a few, I mean, obviously they fast forward the process because it's for like TikTok or whatever, but you know, after a few washes, that thing is looking sparkling brand new. And even though we might not think that's possible with ourselves, like it really is. And I think what's cool is realizing we don't even have to stay in that energy now. Like we don't have to stay attached to our traumas. It's not to say invalidating it or like, oh, it didn't happen or it doesn't matter. It's no big deal. Just forget about it. But I think it's also like, oh yeah, maybe I can acknowledge that something happened to me or that I'm really unhappy about something. But the cool thing is that I don't have to be labeled with that for the rest of my life. I don't have to carry it around forever. I don't have to like sit in this energy and be angry or be upset. I can realize that this really had nothing to do with me. It probably had everything to do with someone else's trauma, someone else's issues, someone else's karma. And I can choose to like free myself and just live the most beautiful, happy life ever. And again, it's not to say stuffing your emotions away, but sometimes I think we like end up re-traumatizing ourselves because we keep reprocessing, like, why did that happen and how did it happen? And we allow those fears to creep in. We allow ourselves to now be on guard because, oh my gosh. And even though that's totally natural, I think what's really cool is being like, oh yeah, I don't have to carry this weight anymore. And I can just choose to have the happiest life, the best life, the most peaceful life ever. And anything that takes that away from me, I'm not going to keep carrying. So maybe that does mean I'm going to cut that person off out of my life if they're still actively involved. Or maybe, I'm going to proceed to get justice for whatever happened. It's not to say you have to ignore it, but it's to say, I don't have to stay stuck in this, and I can choose to trust again. I can choose to love again. And I deserve all those things. I deserve the beautiful relationship. I deserve love. And just because something happened to me, like, you don't get to control what I do. You don't get to continue to have a stay in my life just because you traumatized me once. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like for some of you guys, this is like really deep healing happening. Maybe you've been doing shadow work. Maybe you have been doing a lot of soul growth. But I feel like for you, this is kind of realizing you're also stronger than you realize. Like, you can handle this stuff more than you ever thought you could. Maybe there was a part of you that thought, like, I can't do this. This is too hard, or I'm going to be stuck in this energy forever. And you might be amazed. Like, maybe you told yourself, I'm happy for all these couples and I'm glad that they're together, but like, I just know I'm never going to be married, or I just know that I'm, not capable of getting that deep in a relationship, or I'm not going to start a family because I had really, difficult parents and they kind of traumatized me and I don't want to pass on that childhood trauma. And then realizing, like, I don't have to let my decisions be colored by what my parents did. I can choose to have whatever life I want. And if that does involve kids, then great. And if not, then great. But I get to make the decisions for myself. And maybe I'm way more comfortable with that than I thought. Maybe I can have the most amazing relationship ever. And my parents' issues, I don't have to continue that or carry that on, or fear of intimacy that I got because of childhood neglect. I don't have to continue with that. I can choose to attract the most amazing partner as I am now. And by the same token, it could be with financials, like having a scarcity mindset that we get from our family, that we get from, a family history of poverty or something, and realizing, like, I'm going to be the first millionaire. I'm going to make lots of money. Money's going to flow easily to me. And literally seeing the magic of actually seeing that happen and seeing how that plays out is such a beautiful experience. And I feel like this is the message that, like, you're so much more capable, pile number one, than anything you even realize. Like, if you thought, I can't do that, or yeah, that's great for them, but like, it could never happen to me, I'm a mess, or whatever. It's like, no, no, no. I feel like Spirit has so many cool things to show you about yourself and to make you realize you are beyond capable. You're so much more capable than you ever thought. Let me get some more cards for you. Pile number one. Let's see what cards we're going to get for pile number one. So we got the King of Wands. And one thing I love about Wands cards in general is that they just kind of do what they want to do. You know what I mean? So the King of Wands is not going to let anyone tell him what he has to do. He's not going to let anyone, pressure him or guilt him or make him overthink. Wands is such a primal, instinctual energy. Fire signs are like this too. Like, that's one thing I feel like what is great. Maybe it's the Venus Aries in me and why I like and enjoy being around Aries energy, but one of the reasons is because you never have to worry if they like you. Like with a Libra, you might have to worry because Libras are just so charming and they will be nice to everyone. They'll charm everyone. They'll be like super friendly to you, even if they hate your guts, which is the beautiful thing about them and why they have so much charisma and so many friends and so many great relationships. But the thing about like an Aries is like, if they don't like you, they're making that completely clear. And I kind of love that because it's like, okay, so I don't have to question. I don't have to second guess. I know they really like me. And that's so Wands energy. That's so like the heat of a fire energy, you know, where you are going to go after what you want and that's it. And if you don't want it, you don't want it. And if you do want it, you do want it. And I feel like for you, this is even getting in touch with the things you want and literally being willing to trust that, being willing to go after that. That's the other thing about fire signs. Like, you're never going to shame an Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius into like, but you really shouldn't, because they don't care. Like, they do not care. You can tell that to a Leo or a Sag or an Aries all day long, but they don't operate in the world of should or, well, I'm supposed to. I can say this as a Venus Aries because that's the area of my life when I've definitely like couldn't care less what anyone else thinks. Never have listened to guidance from anyone about like, well, you should date this kind of person. For me, it's always been immediate. I either know it, I either want it or don't. And I think that that's a really underrated quality in fire, is like that decisiveness, that self-trust that a lot of fire signs have, where they're not going to let you talk them out of it. They're not going to let you lecture to them or change their mind or make them go back and forth. Like, they know what they want and that's pretty much it. And I feel like for you guys, this is about like trusting yourself and being willing to go powerfully after it and step into it, you know, and be like, yeah, that's what I want. So I don't care what you think. Sorry, but I'm the King of Wands here. And if you don't like it, like, lump it. To be honest, I don't care. I'm doing me. And also the King of Wands, or the Wands cards in general, it's a card of conflict. Fire signs are willing to fight for what they want, to go after it, you know? And sometimes I think one of the hardest things when we're stepping into a new energy in life is like that feeling of people either trying to guilt us or people telling us you shouldn't want it or you shouldn't do it, or, you know, well, I think that you really need to do this instead. And like that feeling of guilt, or that feeling from others of just like, huh, what are you doing? But I've always known you as an accountant. What do you mean you're giving up accounting to pursue music producing? Like, excuse me, that's not you. And people can almost get very offended. Like, what did you just say? You're going to go into music producing? And they can get all in their feelings about it, and it can really weigh on us unless we're willing to embrace this wand energy and be like powerful about it and say, no, I'm not listening to you. And I feel like that's the vibe for you, is like, you don't need to continue holding anyone else's opinions. You don't need to continue with anyone else's narrative, what anyone else thinks. Like, this is so about you and yourself and trusting yourself and listening to yourself and what you want. And also the thing about wands, not to go on and on about astrology, but that's really coming through, is, like I said, wands have a very powerful intuition, but not like a water intuition where it's kind of drifty and dreamy and you can meditate deep into it. Wands, it's very instinctual. It's very in the moment, I know. It's very immediately, in one instant, I'm sure of what I should do. And it comes through that way. It comes through as an urge. It doesn't come through as like soft and dreamy and emotional. It comes through as like, I need to do this right now, and very in the moment. So I guess what I'm trying to say with that is like, trust those feelings, trust the urgency, trust the intuition, trust the enthusiasm too. Another thing I think is so much of the time, like, we get shamed when we feel excited, intuitive. Yes, this is for me. You know, that's when people will come in and say, well, have you thought about it? Well, did you make a pros and cons list? Well, I don't know, because the logic for this, blah, blah, blah. And this is why, not to get on another astrology transit, but like Virgo opposes Pisces, right? Gemini opposes Sagittarius. The two Mercury ruled signs in astrology, which are all about logic and thinking and reasoning, they oppose the two signs ruled by Jupiter that are about trusting the universe and really very intuitive and spiritual signs. So not to say you can't be spiritual with Mercury placements at all, but I'm saying that that is like a different part of that brain. Like, when we are listening to a place of intuition, it's not going to make sense. It's sometimes going to be like, what are you doing? Or there's no logic here. Or what are you talking about? Or what's the math? Or, you know, can I see some data on it? Like, it's going to seem like crazy. It's going to seem like this is from out of the blue. And that doesn't mean it's not for us. Sometimes it's about trusting that deeper intuition, that feeling that I want this so bad, even if no one else is getting it, even if everyone else thinks you're crazy, even if people are like, what are you doing? That's you know, that intuition should be the thing you trust the most. And I feel like that's what Spirit wants you to know and trust right now, is like your inner voice, listening to yourself above everything. Let me get into some couple more tarot cards for you. Pile number 1. So we got the 8 of Pentacles and the Princess of Swords. So Princess of Swords, aka the Page of Swords, by the way. So the 8 of Pentacles, again, can talk about hard work paying off. And also sometimes being at that stage where like you have worked hard enough, and this is about getting a payoff. This is about finally, you know, starting to see some rewards, especially because we're leading into like the 9 of Pentacles, the 10 of Pentacles. It's like, okay, we've been at it. We've been pushing. We've moved through the difficulty of the 5 of Pentacles and, you know, the hard work of the 7 of Pentacles. And now we're beginning to see those results happening. So I feel like for you guys, this is saying like also you have worked really hard. You have done maybe shadow work, or maybe this is about literal work in your career, and it's ready to pay off. This could be a blessing in the form of finances coming in. It could be a blessing in terms of a career boost or a promotion of some kind. And with the Princess of Swords, I feel like Spirit is also telling you to use your enthusiasm, to continue to push, to continue to care, and to continue to go after what you want, and don't let anyone hold you back with that. Let me get some of these tarot cards as well. We want to know what good news is coming pile number 1's way. Let's see, what tarot cards are we going to get for pile number 1? So we got the 8 of Wands, okay, the Hierophant. Just going to get 2 more cards for you, pile number 1. This is the 3 of Swords. What good news is coming pile number 1's way? And the 7 of Wands. So again, I also feel like there's a message for you about having to kind of fight off forces that might try to keep you stuck in the past, or forces that may try to, like, they may know a different version of you, and you might have to really put up boundaries. You know, sometimes when we're changing ourselves, when we're stepping into a new paradigm, it's not that anyone might have something against us or be trying to sabotage or be trying to hurt us, but they may know an earlier version of us. They may know a younger version, or a version that maybe works more for their devices. Like maybe they love the docile, sweet, you know, overly giving version of ourselves that didn't have boundaries. And maybe they're going to be a little challenge when we start stepping into that role of someone who's like, this is what I need, this is what I'm going to do. And, you know, not to say I don't care what you think about it, but yeah, this is me and I have boundaries and I'm going to be tough about it. There may be a part of them that is like, wait a minute, I didn't sign up for this. I signed up for the easy version of you that I could control. And I feel like you're learning to trust your intuition more and more and more, pile number 1. You're learning to really listen to yourself and to your own authority. And I feel like there's almost people around you who are like, scared of your power and scared of seeing you fully glow up into it. And what Spirit is telling me for you guys as a message is like, you know exactly what you want. You know, you can feel it in your heart. You probably know even what I'm talking about when I reference this. Like there's something that you know so strongly, and Spirit is saying, trust that version of yourself, trust that inner vision, and don't let anyone else talk you out of it. Sometimes people are well-meaning. Sometimes people have your best interests at heart, but they don't know what's in your heart. They don't know what Spirit is telling you. They don't know your calling or your own innate inner mission. They can only maybe know what they expect from you or their version of it or who you are in their mind, but they don't actually know you. So I feel like Spirit is telling you, just be willing to kind of like stand firm on this. Be willing to stand 10 toes down and like really kind of stand up for yourself, because yeah, I think you're kind of going to need to as you step into this new version of yourself. And let me get some message cards to end this reading on for pile number 1. What message cards are we going to get for pile 1? So we got a new earth. It's happening. Keep holding the vision. And I love that. And it so works perfectly with these cards you've gotten, like the Eight of Pentacles, like it really is happening. You are there and you are, I feel like, making things happen that are breaking so many generational curses, past life curses, breaking trauma. Like you are completely stepping into a new paradigm, a new identity, a new self. And I feel like for you guys, this is like, Spirit just wants to celebrate with you. Spirit is just so happy and so proud of you for leaving those old versions behind and for being willing to step into something that is going to be so much happier. Like, I feel like you are really choosing to leave behind any trauma, any pain. You're really choosing to take a hard look at it and acknowledge what it was and like leave it in the past. And I feel like Spirit is just wanting to let you know, like, you are going to achieve all your dreams and it is going to happen and it's going to be so amazing. You are capable of so much more than you even realize. Let's get into some more cards for you. Pile number 1, lifting the veil, questioning everything. Anything unaligned must go. Yeah. And I think that's what you're doing. Like, you are letting go of things that aren't in alignment. And again, this is what I also got with like needing to put up boundaries sometimes. Like, I feel like you have had people that do have your best interest at heart. They do love you. They do want the best for you, but still deep down inside, they really feel like, you should do it my way, or why don't you just try to be nice to this person or whatever. And I feel like you are having to put up boundaries and say like, I'm not doing it that way anymore. Or that old version of me that you knew, like, that's done. And there's going to be people that don't get it. And there's going to be people that don't understand. And I feel like in that case, you got to go, kind of, you got to go. I mean, they've got to either be willing to give you that space and, or not. So we got all paths lead home, inner authority, intuition, turn your gaze within. I hope that was actually on camera and I wasn't holding the card off camera. And then this one is karmic relationships, Orion energy, polarity, soul growth, conflict. So there may be karmic relationships at play in the past for you and why you are sometimes still dealing with certain negative conflicts with certain people, or it could be karmic. It could be from past lifetime, and that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be sunshine and rainbows. Yeah, that's a whole other topic. But I feel like for you, you are choosing to really leave anything negative. You're really choosing that if someone doesn't get what you're doing, or they have an issue with you, or they kind of think, I don't get it, you're just choosing not to try to get their approval anymore. You're done. You're over it. And I feel like because of that, you're going to achieve so much more as a result. Like, you are going to have your dreams come true. You are going to experience things beyond your wildest dreams because you are willing to let go of those anchors holding you back. Because you are no longer choosing to deal with someone that views you through an earlier or an older version of yourself that is no longer in alignment with who you really are. You are choosing that if someone doesn't get or understand the current you, or the you of where you're trying to head, the identity you are trying to step into, then you're not going to be dealing with them anymore. You're not going to allow them space and room in your life. You're choosing to prioritize your intuition, your dreams, your goals, your vision over everything else. And that is really when the magic happens. That's when the sky is the limit and you're able to accomplish things beyond your wildest dreams. There's a reason why someone might have to leave their hometown and go to like Hollywood before they get their big success. You know what I mean? Not just because that's where the jobs are, I guess, but you know what I mean? Sometimes there's a writer and they're struggling for years and they have to move to New York City to make it big. Or maybe they lived in New York City and they were like tinkering away and they were stuck in a really low paying job and they decided to go move down south for a while. And that's when sometimes it's about removing yourself from those energies that see you through a different version of yourself, see you through a version of yourself and don't respect you and aren't in alignment with this new version that you're trying to head. So I feel like for you, you're really choosing to embrace this and you are going to have so many amazing things happen for you as a result. Pile number 1. So that is what I have for you guys. I really hope it resonates. If you are interested in seeing more of my tarot, then be sure to head to my Patreon where I post all my additional readings. There are over 90 exclusive readings you'll only get access to when you sign up for Patreon, and you also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. I posted a reading really recently about your future spouse, and I can't remember, I also posted another recent one, but I literally post so many readings over there that I forget all the different topics. So you'll have to go check out the link underneath the timestamps in the description and in the comments if you want to see what topics I just posted about. But yeah, join me on Patreon and you will get access to all those things, as well as be able to vote on new topics and help select the new topics. So link is underneath the descriptions in my Link is underneath the timestamps in the description and in the comments for my Patreon. Also, if you're interested in booking a private session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. Whether you're looking for a tarot reading, an astrology reading, a channeling session, a combination of all three, you can really customize your session so it's perfect for you at my website, briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is in my description. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm sending you so much love and light, and I will see you again very soon with another reading. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey, Pile 2, welcome to your reading. So for your card, you guys selected Up from the Depths, Releasing Difficulty. Let's get into your other oracle cards and see what good news is going to be heading your way. And we are going to be doing a live shuffle. So let's see what good news is going to be heading pile number 2's way. What good news is going to be heading pile number 2's way? So we got connections, partnership, contract, commitment. Okay. Family tree, expansion, legacy. Okay. This one is currents of emotion, uncontrolled feelings. Let's get one more card for you. Pile number 2. This one is animal totems, animal energy, and powers. So for a lot of you guys, this could be about relationships. We have a lot of relationship cards coming in for you guys. This could be a beautiful new connection that wants to come in for you. And I feel like this person may even feel like a member of your soul tribe or a member of your soul family. You may have that sense of resonance or that you've known them for a while by the time they could come in. I also feel like this is about you really having the kind of relationship that makes you realize how to trust or how to feel safe with someone. So it may be the kind of relationship where like you feel like you can tell them anything, or if you have been in a guarded energy, feeling like you can't trust, feeling like you can't open up, or like, you know, you always have to be on your best behavior in a relationship because if someone sees the real you, they're not going to like it. If you felt kind of closed off in that sense, this could be a relationship coming in that really teaches you how to let your guard down and how to open up and how to let someone into your life on a much deeper level. It could even be expanding your family in some way, whether that's getting pregnant, having a child, or even just like adopting a little animal, adopting a dog or a cat or a hamster or any kind of pet. But I feel like it's almost like Spirit is expanding your heart and making you realize how great it can be to be in connection with someone and to let them in, and how special that connection can be, especially I think when we get into an energy of being like a little bit closed off or standoffish, or kind of like, okay, I can do everything myself. You know, I've got this handled. I don't need anyone. I'm good on my own. But it can be so special when you learn to really let your guard down and let that person in. And it can be a really healing process, because a lot of times when we are afraid to love, it's coming out of that place of fear. It's coming out of a place of not trusting the universe, not trusting what the universe brings us. You know, I think one of the best ways you can alchemize your love life relationships is to have that trust feeling. Like, I think one of the best things you can do is not to fixate on any ex or any past relationship, but to be more in the universe, in trusting in the universe, and thinking that if the universe has brought you someone or taken someone away, then that is just proof of the endless abundance of the universe. If you could care this much about this person, then imagine how much more you're going to care in the future about the person who chooses to stay, chooses to stay. And maybe also, sometimes I think relationships come in for the purpose of awakening us, for the purpose of making us feel excited, for the purpose of giving us a crush and realizing how much fun it is to have a crush. And that relationship can be perfect as it is, and it doesn't necessarily need to lead to marriage, lead to children, lead to like settling down with someone in order to serve its purpose in our life. You know what I mean? Sometimes it served exactly the role it needed to play, and that's when it left. And sometimes when we feel like we're obsessing over one person, again, that's not trusting in the abundance of the universe. That's energetically sending out that message of scarcity mindset that, oh my God, this was the only person for me and I'm never going to find anyone I like. And part of it is realizing like, I'm such an amazing, fun person. I'm going to find lots of people I like. I'm going to have lots of options. And if this didn't work out, and I know I did my best, obviously, if you're like just running through people because you keep like, attacking someone or being like really horrible to them, then that's different. But if you're like, no, I know I did my best in this relationship, but it didn't work out for whatever reason, then part of it is like trusting that process and being like, okay, on to the next. Because I know if I experience this, then there's something even better for me. And I know my guides will give me the right thing, whatever it is, whether it's a person, whether it's a job, whatever situation, in the right timing when I will be able to receive it. I always think that like divine timing, for me, the perfect metaphor is baking because I'm such an impatient baker. I love to cook because I am impatient. So, if you're cooking eggs and you're really hungry, you can like amp up the temperature and like, cook the eggs a little faster, and they might be a little more rubbery and maybe not as soft as if you slow cooked the eggs, but like you can still eat them. They'll still be good. You can add like some hot sauce to cover it or something if you don't like the texture, to distract you. But, with baking, you are stuck on that timetable. You cannot rush brownies and be like, oh, I kind of want these done in like 2 minutes. So I'm just going to like hike the oven up to 500 degrees and we'll just cook it there, because like that's just going to burn the brownies and they're not going to be good, and they're definitely not going to bake and puff up beautifully into those perfect brownies you want. So you really have to learn patience with baking. And for me, I definitely think that that same feeling I get when I'm like baking cookies and I'm like, oh, I just want to eat the cookies, oh, when are these ready, and I'm opening the oven all the time and I'm checking and I'm double checking, that's that same kind of vibe or mentality when someone is like, but why haven't I met my husband yet? But why haven't I met my partner yet? Or, well, why hasn't this? And it's like, you just have to trust the process. It's just like, I might be getting hungry and impatient, but I know I can smell the cookie dough wafting through the air. I know I just spent 30 minutes like mixing together ingredients and the eggshells are still laying out on the counter, and I can still smell the vanilla and, there's still some dough inside the bowl or whatever. So I know, okay, this cookie is coming along. It may not be ready yet, but it's going to be there. But I think so much of the time it's hard in life because we feel like maybe nothing's happening. Like maybe there's nothing being baked and I'm just out here alone and oh my God. And it can send us into this spiral of like, I'm going to be alone forever. Or maybe I can't be in a relationship or whatever. And some of it is just learning to trust and learning that spirit has divine timing as well. Just like you can't take those cookies out after 2 minutes, no matter how hungry you are, because there's still going to be raw cookie dough. If you want to eat that, okay. But if you want a cookie, you're going to have to wait for the 40 minutes or an hour or however long with cookies, I can't remember, until they're done, And if you want that beautiful cake, that takes a while. That takes even longer. So it's a process, and sometimes it's just about realizing that like the baking powder has to do its thing, the eggs have to do their thing, the flour has to do their thing, and they all have like laws they're corresponding to, of like according to like the cooking rules of what the baking powder does and how the eggs react and the butter and blah blah blah. They're all doing their own thing, they're all working together, and just because it's not ready yet or doesn't seem like where are the cookies, they're not here yet, that doesn't mean they're not going to be there. And I want to give you guys that message of like understanding and trusting this beautiful process that's happening for you with whatever it is in your life and not rushing, and also making sure you're energetically staying open and you're continuing to put yourself out there. You're continuing to go. You're continuing to look at it through a positive lens of possibility of like, okay, maybe that guy didn't work out, but whatever, maybe on to the next. And like, it reminds me of like when I was first in college and I would go to like, or I remember I felt very out of place at my college, and sometimes you'd go to a party and you'd feel like, I don't know anyone here, or you'd go with your friend and you would both feel like, I don't know anyone. And it's really daunting, but you kind of have to stick that out. And then by the end of your freshman year, a lot of times, you know everyone, you've met everyone, you've had different run-ins with people, and you have stories, and you went out and you partied with that person, that person. But it takes time, and it takes being willing to fight through that initial discomfort of being alone at the party and being like, I don't know anyone. Who are these people? And if you're not willing to do that, and you're not willing to continuously stick it out and show up again and like, go to this party, even though I don't know who this fraternity is and I've never been there before and I feel really awkward right now because I don't know anyone. If you're not willing to stick that out, then you'll never get to that phase of like, oh, I know everyone and that's my friend, and oh, he's so fun, and hey, Jake, like, if you don't get through that discomfort of like pushing yourself and not seeing anything happening and feeling like, oh, this sucks, then you're not going to go to that place of, okay, it's paying off. This is awesome. And I just feel like some of you guys need to know that. It's like, it's okay if you have a bad relationship. It's okay if you go on a bad date. It's okay if you feel like, oh, I got my heart broken. But I feel like, of course, take pauses, like look after your emotional health. But there's also this message of like continuing to go, continuing to push yourself, and just accepting that like life isn't always going to be kind of sunshine and roses. There's a German phrase that's like, life isn't always just about licking sugar. If I have any German viewers, you can tell me if I butchered that quote or whatever, but I think it's, life isn't always licking sugar, meaning there's parts of life that are going to be unpleasant. Like there's parts of life that aren't going to be 100% a dream all the time, right? So it doesn't mean that like anything's wrong. It doesn't mean that like, oh my God, I'm in crisis. Sometimes it just means this is just how it goes. And if I want to build this, then I got to get through this kind of like difficult period, So I feel like for you guys, really good news you're getting is like, you're so on the right track. You're so on the right path. And I think for you, Spirit just wants you to stay optimistic, stay positive, and continue looking towards the future in a good way instead of allowing yourself to be hung up on any negativity. Let me get into some tarot for you guys. We want to pull some tarot. If I can get these cards out. It's kind of hard when you have super long nails. Okay, we're just going to pull with these. We want to know about what good news is coming pile number 2's way. What good news is coming pile number 2's way, Spirit? So this one is the Magician. Yes, that is so the energy for you guys, because the Magician shows us that anything is possible, and it's really all about self-belief. That's what makes the alchemist or magician so special, is because, they use their power to bring it forth from the spiritual realm into the physical realm. And that's why I love the symbology of the magician. And you can kind of see it in this card, but the wand is pointed up towards the heavens. And actually, and then you can see actually there's a lot of symbology here, but there's the pentacle, the cup, and the sword. So all the symbology of the tarot. But why is the wand the one pointed up towards heaven? Wands are all about action, right? Wands are all about doing things in the physical reality and about taking literal physical action. And that's why a lot of the wands cards show like people in combat, people fighting physically with each other. It's not a mental energy, it is a physical energy. And oftentimes that's how we bring something through from the spiritual realm into this realm. Of course, we have to think about it. We may have to meditate on it, which is kind of cups, thinking is swords. We may have to like dream about it, but at the end of the day, we need to take action. We need to trust the process. And also wands, like the Ace of Wands, shows such a strong force of will and concentrating everything and like, I'm going to do this. And so much I think of going about something, doing something, accomplishing something is just being bold enough to step towards it and ask for it and go for it and continue pushing on it and just stop, not just not allowing yourself to get discouraged, not saying no, not being turned off, not allowing yourself to be dissuaded, just continuing to push and to use your force, to use your energy to go after something, to use your whatever you have, your physical strength, whatever power inside of you, to go after what you want. That's how you accomplish something. That's how you change your reality and your destiny. And I feel like that's what you are really being called to do, Pile 2, is to continue to push yourself and to continue to stay optimistic. Another thing about the wands, they are fire energy. There's been a lot of fire coming through in the readings lately. But you know, fire lives very much in the moment. It doesn't have a long memory. If you think about like the element of fire, if it burns down a city, there's nothing left, right? And fire lives very much in the current reality, which can be sometimes good, sometimes bad, like they can do chaotic things. But I do think that the reason why the wands are pointed towards the heaven in the Magician card is because, you know, we have to live present in the moment. When we get inside our thoughts, when we're always overthinking, when we're always weighing all the consequences, when we're always considering this and that and that and that detail and kind of like going over and over it and over it, that really, really harbor, or what is it? Dampens, I guess, our momentum and just stops us from moving forward. And the more we can kind of just be present with like how we're feeling, what we're thinking, and just kind of like our want. Another thing about wands energy is, to me, it's very strong want, I want. Like the Ace of Wands, for example, has a very strong association with even like sexuality, you know, as far as much more than any of the other aces. It's like that very present feeling of like, I want this, I'm doing it. It's not a intellectual energy. And I feel like for you guys, this is your call to go after things, not to overthink, and also to use your force of life, your life force, to push and to go after whatever this is. So if you are wanting to start a YouTube channel, if you're wanting to start a podcast, if you're wanting to start on TikTok, or if you're wanting a relationship, if you're wanting a friendship, whatever it is you want, concentrating your force of energy into yourself and like going after it is when things happen, you know, and when the magic will start happening, literally, pun intended, Magician card, magic happening. But also the thing about wands is it's concentrated energy. If you think about like someone pointing a wand is used in a lot of magical depictions, like in Harry Potter or whatever, you know, depiction of like magicians, they're always using an actual wand, even though the wand in tarot is slightly different. My point is it's concentrated energy, concentrated through the hand when you stick out your wand. And that's kind of what we could imagine if we're mentally doing that. Like we might not have a physical magic wand, but we can mentally push so much energy on something, go after it, use our full force of energy of like pulling that into us. And that's when it happens. And the more wishy-washy we are, the more we don't really know what we're doing, and we kind of like, I'm not sure. Like whenever you see, I haven't watched the Harry Potter movies. I read the books, but I haven't seen the movies. But if you can imagine, like I would imagine that you're literally seeing like a lot of times when they're showing a wand in a movie or whatever, they'll show a force of light pointing out of the wand towards whatever target. So if we can imagine ourselves doing that, like if there's a career we want, if there's a relationship we want, we can have it, but we have to be willing to pull it towards us. And we can't be like second guessing. Like I always think it's like whenever someone's trying to date, but they're like, oh yeah, I'm not on the dating apps, and I don't know, I just hope I meet someone, and no, I'm kind of shy, I don't really talk to people, no, I don't go to parties, and yeah, I don't really like, and I get it, but it's also like, okay, but how are you going to make that happen? And I guarantee you, the girl who's going to have better luck than you on the dating market is going to be the girl that like has a dating app or goes out to the bar and flirts and like comes up to the guy she thinks is cute and says like, hey, I like your baseball cap or whatever it is, and just does it and doesn't think about it, doesn't ruminate about it. And that energy is also magnetic because guys are attracted to that, girls are attracted to that. I know I have had guys who like have had crushes on me, whatever, but they're wishy-washy about it. They dance around it instead of coming up to you and saying like, hey, what are you doing? We should go out, or let me take you out on a date, you know, anything like that. They, you know, they stare at you from across the room, or they kind of come up to you and start talking, but they're rambling and you're like, what are you even saying? And you know, they're trying to like mince their words. You know, they're trying not to come on too strong. You know, they're kind of like trying to hedge their bets in case you reject them. They don't want to look stupid. So they're kind of like being a little cagey and casual and treating you like an option. And that's so unattractive. Maybe it's the Venus and Aries in me, but I'm always like, just immediate, no, can't stand that. And I think that's true for a lot of people though. When you come on strong, when you're like, hey, I'm really into you, I'd like to take you out, or like, wow, you look really good in those jeans, or whatever compliment, when you just like make your intentions clear. And also in a way that, like, again, trusting the abundance of the universe, not that you're desperate, not that you're begging them to hang out with you, but that you're like, hey, it'd be great if we could hang out, you know? If not you, I'll find someone else. And you have that energy, that power and that confidence that wands embody, fire energy embodies so strongly. It's like nothing is out of your grasp. You know what I mean? That's how you accomplish things. That's why the magician is pointing the wand card in the air and not the other signs, not the other symbols from the tarot. So yeah, not to go on a tangent, but I just feel like some of you guys need that little pep talk about, like, you can accomplish anything, you can do anything, you have so much potential, but it's almost like being willing to fully embrace that, fully step out on a ledge, stop trying to like look a certain way, or, oh, let me come off as like kind of like chill about it. Let me make sure that I don't come on too strong. But like, yeah, let me come on strong. Let me make sure my intentions are known. Let me leave no doubt. Let me make my feelings clear. And that, when you have that and you really embody that energy, it is so unstoppable. That is the energy that will move mountains. So yeah, let me get into some more cards for you. Pile number 2. So we want to know what pile number 2, what good news is coming their way. What good news is coming pile 2's way? The wheel. Wow. And the wheel is ruled by Sagittarius in tarot. So it's connected with Jupiter, the ruler of Sag. We have, again, that Jupiter energy is trusting the abundance of the universe. And that's, I think, again, with this fire energy coming through, that's what makes fire signs very seductive and makes them have kind of a sexual quality to them, and why wands are sexual in the tarot. That's one of the reasons, is there's something so sexy about someone that like is coming on strong but doesn't need you, coming on strong but they're not desperate, they're coming on strong but not in a water like, oh, I'm so emotionally attached to you. They're coming on strong in a way that's like, hey, I really like you now. I don't know how I'll feel an hour from now, because wands live in the moment, you know? But yeah, and I think for you guys, this is about, like I said, the Jupiter energy, Sagittarius energy has such faith in the universe too. Faith that they'll be taken care of. Deep trust and knowledge that like, hey, I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be good. So if you're worried about, well, I don't want to come off desperate, I don't want to go after guys on dating apps and seem like a loser, well, then don't see it that way. Just be like, well, I'm going to go on this date and it'll be fun and I'll have a good time. I'm not going to, you know, drink too much so I like lose my focus or anything, but I'm going to go have a great time. And then I have something else going on. Or if you're trying to start a YouTube channel, just posting videos one after the other. And if they don't do well, oh well, you know, and just continuing to push forward. You know what you want. That's all that matters. And it's just a matter of time if you continue that optimistic attitude before it becomes a reality. Let me get some more cards for you. Pile number 2, the 6 of Wands. Okay, and let's get, I just want to get a couple more. Okay, we got literally a couple. The 2 of Pentacles, and this is, oh, we can't show that. Yeah, that's one of the bad cards. Okay, but I remember it. It was the Lovers. Let me get one more card. This one is, oh, the Ace of Wands, which I had been mentioning, of course, and the King of Pentacles. So we also have the Lovers, which I am looking at, and I will read from the Lovers because you guys can't see it on YouTube. Anyway, let's talk about the cards. So yeah, the Ace of Wands, I was talking about that. That is just when you go into something with such an energy of knowing what you want, going after it, not having any second guessing, not having any kind of lack of enthusiasm. The Ace of Wands is going to go after it full force and never try to come off nonplussed, never try to come off wishy-washy or uninterested or kind of halfway there. Like, they are fully concentrated energy. Also, the 6 of Wands is also about being celebrated publicly, getting some kind of accomplishment, getting some achievement. And I feel like for you, this is also about maybe allowing yourself to have more fun, or allowing yourself to like enjoy more, be more playful, maybe even feeling like you have a younger energy about you, not in terms of like literal age, but in terms of your energy that you embody, having that playfulness, having that fun, having that enjoyment. I feel like for you guys, this is also about maybe making a vision board and creating an idea of your head. Because sometimes this is the thing, speaking of dating again, but I'll ask someone, because I'm really good at setting people up. Because if you didn't know, matchmaking is like basically you're reading energy. So a lot of matchmakers actually have psychic abilities, and it's a really good thing to get into if you have psychic abilities. But you know, so I've matched up some friends and stuff to the point where it's led to marriages, more than one. But I will say that a lot of times when I ask someone if they're a friend of mine and they're single, and I'll be like, well, who can I match you up with? Like, I don't know, what do you like in a guy? And they'll say, oh, I don't know. I mean, if he has to be nice or he has to be funny. And I'm like, okay, but what, like, do you have any physical characteristics you like? Like, surely there's something that you enjoy, whether it's dark hair, blonde hair. It doesn't have to be super specific, but like a general, like a height or a overall build, like anything. And a lot of times they'll just say, no, I don't know, whatever happened. And I'm always like, okay, I don't even know then, to be honest, if you're ready to fully date. Because the thing is that you have to kind of know what you want in order to get after it. You have to kind of know, like, same thing with career. If you're like, okay, I don't know what I want to do with my career, I just whatever, then you're probably not going to even be able to go out there and apply and find something. If you have literally no idea whether you like math or science or English or the left brain, right brain thing, whether you like, you have to have some clue of kind of the general field that you want to get into in order to make a job happen, right? And same with like dating, same with anything in life. If you literally have no clue about yourself, no clue about your inner compass, no clue about what you want, then that's also a problem. And I feel like for you guys, this message is also about like getting really clear for yourself about the kind of life you want to build and allowing yourself to dream big. Because I'm also hearing for some of you guys, you like will not let yourself even go there. If you're like, if you would tell yourself, oh yeah, I want to get married one day, then you might beat yourself up of like, oh, that's so cringe. Oh my God, you sound so basic. Oh, you sound like such a pick me. You know what I mean? And, or if you're like, yeah, I really want to build $1 million company. Okay, so what kind of steps could you take? Or how could you start allowing yourself to be open to that? How could you ask that from spirit every day, or put that on your vision board so it is the first thing you see? How can you start embodying and stepping into that energy? How can you start immediately thinking that it's yours instead of dancing around it? You know what I mean? The more energy we can direct towards something, the more we can be really bold and go after it and like not be apologetic and not feel weird about it, then the better we will be. I also feel like for you guys, this could be a message about positive news or good news coming through about your career. Because for some of you guys, this could be you doing better in your career in some way, you really finding some kind of a balance or finding your stride and having more fun with it. If you felt like your career was really draining for a long time and you felt like you really didn't love what you were doing, this Two of Pentacles is making me think that you're going to find more balance and you're just going to enjoy it a lot more, and you're not going to struggle as much with like, oh, this is so much work, or oh, I don't know what to do next, or it's so hard for me to find time for my hobbies. And you might just really find your stride and like love what you're doing. Let me get some more tarot for you. Pile number 2. So this one is the Hanged Man and the Nine of Wands. Okay. What good news is coming pile number 2's way? We're just going to get 4 cards because that's what we got for the other pile. The Five of Pentacles, and this one is the King of Wands. Yeah. So I feel like with the Nine of Wands, the Hanged Man, Spirit is also telling you that like, you're so powerful. You're so good at this. The Nine of Wands, once you reach the Nine of Wands, like you have a very high level that you're at. And I feel like Spirit is telling you like, For some of you guys, you're going to accomplish things, you're going to do things, you're going to have things in your life that you could only have dreamed of, or that other people would look at and be like, oh my God, how did they do it? Or they're so lucky, or wow, like, geez, I wish that could be me. And people who are looking on at you and thinking, oh, I can't believe they did that. I can't believe they made that happen. You are more capable than I think even you realize. Pile number 2. And I feel like Spirit is telling you, like, the sky is the limit. And this is really about you embracing your own power, because the only thing holding you back is like your own power at this point, you know, your own willingness to embrace your power, your own willingness to push yourself and put yourself out there and go after it, instead of holding yourself away or doubting or being afraid. I think some of you guys, you're afraid of your own success. You're afraid of what is going to happen if you really, really fully allowed yourself to do what you want and go after it. Let me get some message cards for you to end off this reading. For pile number 2, we want to know what good news is coming their way. And one final card. Perfect. Okay, so this is big picture thinking, Pleiades energy, visionary, inspired ideas. Perfect. Then we have Star Keeper, cosmic ancestor. See the light by staying grounded. This one is Earthed, learning how to be human in the world but not of it. And finally, this one says, wait, it's not time yet. Things are being woven. I love that, because honestly, that is perfect for the metaphor I gave you at the beginning about, you know, sometimes baking brownies and how long it takes. And sometimes when we haven't seen that happen yet, it can be so easy to get into our feelings and doubt if it's ever going to happen and question whether it's even possible. The reality is, if you're pouring your energy into it, if you are doing everything you're supposed to do, and you're genuinely using your power, and you're genuinely taking all the steps you need to take and using your life force and doing it, then, like, trust me, it is just a matter of time. It really, really, really is. It's just a matter of time. When we focus and concentrate our energy so strong, like that wand that I was talking about, then that is going to happen, period, point blank. It is going to happen. So if there's something you have been trying to do, if there's something you've been trying to go after, just know that that is yours. It may not be yours in this timeline right now, but it will be yours. And sooner or later, it's going to happen. You're going to accomplish all those things. If you're doing the healing work, if you are working through your ancestral or family trauma, if you are pushing yourself to go after a certain goal, if you are working on your emotional side so you can attract the kind of healthy relationship, trust me, you are going to get that, whatever that is. Know that it's already yours. Know that it's already happened in some timeline, and now welcome it into this timeline, and just accept that sometimes there's divine timing at play, and now you're just waiting. You already put those brownies in the oven. You already put the cookies in. They are baking up, puffing up. They're going to be delicious, and it's just a matter of having faith in the process, okay? So that is what I have for you, pile number 2. I really hope that resonates, guys. If you would like to see more of my readings, then check out my Patreon, where I post all my additional tarot readings. There are over 90 exclusive tarot readings you'll only get access to on Patreon. I just posted a reading all about your future spouse. But then I also posted even a more recent one. I can't even remember. There's so many titles over there. Like I said, over 90. And you also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. So if you want to see what my most recent video was, or check out the other titles, or just see all the other 90 readings, then you can head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments and the description and join me on Patreon. If you are interested in booking a private session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. Whether you are looking for a tarot reading, a channeling session, an astrology reading, a combination, you can go ahead and customize your reading so it's the perfect reading for you. And like I said, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is in my description. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I am sending you so much love and light, and I will see you again very, very soon in another reading. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey, pal number 3, welcome to your reading. So if you guys got this Elementals card, nature spirits, the four elements, this is going to be your reading. So we're also going to get into some other oracle cards. We are going to be pulling some live shuffle cards. So let's get into them and see what good news is heading pile number 3's way. So we got your eternal spirit, higher self, sacred intuition, and we got conscious steps, considered action, looking forward. Let's get a couple more cards for you, pile number 3. We want to know about pile number 3 and their good news, talent guide, spirit mentors and teachers, and also, okay, you got 2, phase entanglement, emotional influence, and journey guide, travel, change in location. Okay, so good news coming your way. I feel like one of the good news is plural, because I feel like there's multiple, is that you guys may be really leveling up spiritually. Like, I feel like you are going to be getting more in touch with your intuition. Maybe you could be starting a spiritual practice that really inspires you. And I'm hearing something about consistency. Like, maybe you have done meditations, but you've been kind of not so consistent with that. You've been inconsistent, where maybe you do it for like 1 week and then you forget, or you do it for really intensely one day and then you don't do it again for like 2 weeks. And I feel like you're getting really consistent with listening and learning your intuition and learning when spirit is talking to you and trying to send you messages. I feel like that's a huge gift you are getting, is you're going to be much more in touch with your spiritual side, with the astral plane. You may even be having really, really vivid dreams and be getting downloads through dreams. I'm also hearing, this is kind of cool, a really interesting message for some of you guys, that you may be meeting a soul counterpart or even a soulmate coming in from past lifetimes to try to guide you and help you. And some of you guys may be really aligning with meeting this person sooner rather than later. I feel like this person is coming in to kind of remind you of who you were. And I'm also hearing a message like, hey, don't get too excited, because they're saying this person is coming through to really help you with your soul growth work, which whenever we're helped with our soul growth work, it doesn't necessarily feel that much fun. Sometimes it feels like work, because it is work. And so maybe they're coming through to help us with a lesson we couldn't quite master in a past lifetime, or coming through to challenge us, make us grow. And I feel like the message for you is not to be afraid of that. Maybe some of you guys, this person is already in your life. This person is already consistently around you or present around you. And I feel like if that's the case, maybe sometimes, you know, when we have those kinds of relationships and we do have a challenging moment, or someone is really pushing us to grow, it can feel uncomfortable and it can feel really sometimes painful. Like, ugh, why are you stressing me out? You know, like, this is not what I wanted to do. Now I'm stressed. Ugh. And you can really kind of resent that person, or feel like, are they negative for me because I was in a good mood and then I was around them and now I'm upset? But if they are really challenging you to grow in a positive way, you know, sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes it's they are coming in from a past lifetime because we didn't master that lesson in a past lifetime. And as much as we don't want to retake that test, it's for our soul's best interest. So just a quick message for some of you guys, that if this is an energy you're currently dealing with, just to have patience with it and not necessarily to take it as like an attack, because sometimes those people that come in that challenge us or push us, it's actually a good thing if we're willing to learn that lesson, if we're willing to sit through it. You know, sometimes I think some of the discourse around like relationships in general on social media can be all about, oh, it's only sunshine and roses, or cut them off. You know, either it's magic and perfect and they know what to do from the jump, or it's toxic. And I do think it's important, like in relationships, you know, there's going to be disagreements. So you're going to have to be willing to sit down with your partner and talk that out, or say, you know, I really didn't like it when you said that, or I'd really appreciate it if you did this. And kind of like, I think the test of the good relationship is, how much is that person willing to meet you in the middle? How much is that person willing to put in some work, or be like, oh, I'm sorry, that wasn't my intention. Let me try to change that up for you and genuinely follow through with action, you know? So it's not necessarily a red flag if someone like doesn't know what to do, or maybe they're pushing you in a way that might feel uncomfortable, but you know is good for you. You know, all those things aren't necessarily a bad thing, even if, sorry guys, my camera cut out because my storage was full, but we cleared that, so we should be good. But as I was saying, sometimes growth feels a little uncomfortable. If you could think about, you know, if you were in taking a really difficult math class and you were like learning a lot and really getting new stuff every single day, that teacher is probably kind of strict. You probably are blowing through a lot of knowledge and it's really challenging. And so, you know, you might not look forward to that class as much versus the one where you're allowed to sit in the back of the class and just gossip with your friends. But you're going to come off so much you're going to come out of that class so much better off for taking the difficult math class. And when it comes to time to take the test or to move to the next level, they might move you ahead and be like, okay, and now you get to go into like AP calculus, or you get to level up, or you get to skip a grade. So there's so many benefits to doing that. And sometimes when we're being challenged more, when the difficulty seems to be ramping up in our life, we can see it as like, oh my God, there's something wrong, or there's something off, or why am I being faced with that? When actually that could be a sign that like you are on the right track and spirit knows you're capable of this increased knowledge. Spirit knows that now you are ready for this new level. And of course the difficulty level is going to ramp up just like in a video game. Once you complete the easy level and you move up to like medium and hard, it gets more and more difficult. So I just feel like your guides really want to congratulate you and let you know that they see how hard you've worked, and just also reassure you that just in case things seem difficult with you right now, or you feel like there's challenging things going on, it's not necessarily a bad thing. And whether that's a relationship, whether that's something else in your life, just knowing that sometimes it is going to be difficult, especially when we're learning something new. It's a challenge, but you know, there's so many benefits to that. And I feel like right now you are just way more capable than you even realize. You're leveling up at such a rapid pace, and your guides are really proud of you. They can see the work you guys have been doing. So I also feel like they may be causing like major changes in your life for that reason. We got journey guide, travel, change in location. So they may literally want to change your physical location and have you like move into some kind of a new territory, or maybe you are, you know, having something really change in your career, or having something really change in your relationship. And I feel like it's almost like spirit is saying you mastered the other level. So if there's like a lot of changes happening and you're like, what is going on? This is crazy. I feel like it's almost like spirit gave you a little bit of a grace period where it's like, okay, you get to sit back and celebrate the new level you reached. But now it's like, okay, you've been doing that. We want to keep this soul growth going. So maybe we're going to switch things up a little. So just know that if the changes start rolling in, or if they've already been happening, if you've been feeling like more challenges have been happening, like that's because you're ready and you can handle this. Yeah, I also feel like you have really cleared past energies, or maybe you've worked through past ancestral karma, ancestral issues, but it really, spirit is showing me kind of like a blank slate. Like I feel like you've even cut ties or cut cords with certain people from your past that maybe you used to be very energetically connected with, and now it's like the slate is totally clear and you are able to take on much more than you were in the past. You have like this new room in your life. But let's get into some tarot for you. Pile number 3, we want to see what good news is happening for pile number 3. So we got the 8 of Wands. Okay. What new good news is happening for pile 3? The Lord, aka the Emperor. This one is the 7 of Pentacles. Let's get maybe 1 or 2 more. This one is the Ace of Pentacles, and one final card. The Sun card. Okay, I think, yeah, that one is, yeah. Okay, the Sun card is so positive. And again, with the Lord card too, you guys may be elevated to a higher position of status. Like, I feel like in a way, Spirit is calling on you to really use your authority. Spirit is saying that you guys are a bit of a guide. I feel like this is probably like my spiritual, very intuitive pile. And I feel like Spirit is saying that you are a bit of a guide, and you know that. Like, you know, you have a lot of deep spiritual knowledge and wisdom. And I feel like Spirit is calling on you to start sharing that with the world, to start sharing your energy. Like, I don't think you realize how impactful you are or how wise you are. Pile number 3. You guys have such a deep spiritual knowledge. You may have been like a shaman, a mystic, some kind of priestess or priest in a past lifetime. I feel like you have always been extremely spiritually ascended. You're an old soul, and you've always been really good at communing with the divine. And I feel like you were put on this planet as a light worker, and Spirit is saying it's time for you to step into that position of authority instead of shying away from it. And if any of you guys are nervous about that, I want to ask a question to this group, because I bet so many of you, how many of you guys end up giving counseling, advice, wisdom to the people in your life? Like, maybe if any of your friends go through a breakup, you're the one they call and ask, like, what should I do? I've been feeling so stressed. I've been feeling so upset. Or maybe you've always been the one, even in your family, even when you were a little kid, who would like counsel your parents, guide them, tell them what to do. Spirit is saying you have always embodied this role of a guide. You've always been doing this kind of work, and it is almost like second nature to you. You're so good at it. So if there's been any fear, any trepidation about like, how am I supposed to do that? Why would I be the authority? I'm not smart enough, or I'm not good enough, or like, I don't know enough. It's like, come on, it is time. It's been time. You are so much more capable than you even realize. And I feel like you are really ready to step into this and fully embody it. And I feel like Spirit is saying that they're just going to keep badgering you about this and like niggling away at the back of your mind until you embrace this, until you embrace this new challenge, and until you are willing to start really putting yourself out there as a guide or an expert. So this could be starting a YouTube channel, starting a TikTok, starting a podcast, or it could be as simple as really, maybe you felt the urge to quit your job and like become a digital nomad and travel around the world, or you felt the urge to write a book, or you felt the urge to really, talk to one of your friends about something, but there's an energy of you holding yourself back or wondering if you're capable and really doubting and questioning if you have it like that. I feel like Spirit is saying that more and more you are going to embody this energy, and people are going to sense this power about you. They are going to sense that you are someone who is so strong, and you are someone that so many people look up to. And if someone doesn't get it, if someone doesn't appreciate you, then also that's going to be their karma to deal with. There's a message for you that if you have been feeling like, well, actually, no, I've been treated really badly lately, and I've had people like really screw me over. I also feel like a lot of spiritual people can sometimes be like an energetic third rail. And by that, I mean, if you fall on the train tracks or like the subway tracks or the metro tracks, you can fall on the first 2 tracks and it's fine. I mean, you might get a little hurt from the actual fall from the subway platform because it's, it's pretty high. But if you can survive that, like, you'll be good. It's gross, it's dirty, of course, but there's nothing super dangerous about those tracks on their own. But the 3rd rail is electrocuted. So as soon as you touch the 3rd rail, it's like lights out, you're dead, you're done, And I feel like for you guys, you're almost an energetic 3rd rail. And by that, I mean like someone might be able to mess with someone else, and of course they're still going to get karma, but I feel like you are almost like an agent of karma, where like someone messes with you and they get it back tenfold. They just get completely screwed over, and they feel like they just get such a blowback with you. So even if you don't get to witness that, even if you're not the one who gets to see them getting karmic payback, Spirit is saying, trust and believe it will be handled. I'm hearing that in like Olivia Pope's voice from Scandal, where she would say, it's handled, like it's taken care of. You don't need to worry. You don't need to stress about it. And I really feel like you are here as a spiritual guide in this lifetime. You are here as someone who has really done so much spiritual work, and you deserve to be respected for that. You deserve to be recognized for that. So if you are in an energy of holding yourself back or being too nervous or being afraid of it, maybe it will also light a fire under your belly to say, like with this Eight of Wands, there's other people who are going to go after it. There's other people who wish they had your innate gifts and talents, pile number 3. So why are you holding yourself back from it? Why are you allowing someone else to take your place? This might not even be spiritual. This might be about maybe you really want to go into acting, or you really want to go into singing, or you really want to write a creative romance novel or whatever. But if you aren't doing it, if you're not putting yourself out there like that, someone else is going to take it. Someone else is going to go after it. So you need to be the one to step into center stage energy and to stop doubting and to stop questioning. I feel like also Spirit is going to really bless this journey that you're on. Like if you do decide to be brave enough to fully embrace this and to fully step into this identity, trust that Spirit has your back. Spirit is going to be so excited to see you take on this new challenge. They are going to make everything go with totally smooth sailing. So definitely, I feel like Spirit is calling on you to push yourself and to embrace this new challenge, whatever it is. Let me get into some more tarot for you. Pile number 3. So we want to know about pile number 3's good news coming their way. What good news is coming pile number 3's way? So we got the Knight of Wands. This is the Six of Pentacles. Ooh, I love the Six of Pentacles. The Fool card. What good blessings are coming pile number 3's way? What good news? The Five of Cups. And let's get one final card. The Justice card. I was telling you that there's an element of karma around you. Pile number 3. You guys are powerful agents of karma. And I'm hearing that when people mess with you, they might not even realize it right away. They might not even know straight off that like they really messed up, but they will still get the karma. Like it's kind of like maybe you have a problem with your car and you don't know when it happened. And you might not have any idea, but if you really looked back, you would realize that there was like a pebble that got sucked into your engine or something. You know what I mean? And you might not actually know at the time of the pebble being in your engine. But once it breaks down a few months later, you're like, okay, so something happened. I don't know. And I feel like there's a vibe with that with you, with people where they might mess with you and you might not even get to witness it. You might not even get to see that karma play out. But trust me, sooner or later, they are going to have deep, deep, deep spiritual consequences for the things they did to you. So trust and believe. You are able to rest. You're able to relax, because this karmic wheel is definitely in play when it comes to you. And Spirit knows you are a very spiritual, deep creature. Pile number 3. You also have a very beautiful heart. And I feel like you are someone who is so spiritually ascended, so wise. And it's funny because sometimes people think they're getting one over on you. They kind of laugh about like, haha. In a way, with this Elementals card, you guys may also sometimes give off a vibe where people may think, oh, like they're going to be easy to mess with. Like, you know, the elementals would be like fairies, elves, and they don't give off an intimidating vibe. They're not a mythical creature like a troll or like a dragon or something where people are like, oh, wow, that's really intimidating. The fairy may just seem actually really beautiful, you know, and really cute looking. Same with elves. Like they're really sweet looking creatures. They're kind of mischievous. So a lot of people underestimate them. And then the fairies and the elves are actually incredibly powerful. Elementals are incredibly powerful, but a lot of people may dismiss them and just think, oh, like they couldn't possibly do that much. And I feel like sometimes you give off that vibe, like people underestimate you. People sometimes look at you and think, oh, look at pile 3. They're so innocent, or they're so naive, or like, oh, they're going to be, yeah, that's perfect. We'll screw with them. And they are in for such a rude awakening when it comes to you, because you definitely have that deep, powerful team on the other side looking out for you so strong. We also got the Six of Pentacles. So for some of you guys, this could be a beautiful blessing when it comes to your finances. You could be getting more money. You could be getting some kind of influx of cash, or even a client who really wants to support you, a client who is really trying to help you out and give you repeat loyalty, be a repeat customer. We also got the Knight of Wands for you guys. So this could even be about embracing like a new hobby, going after something, having something more exciting come in. Spirit is also saying that they want to make sure you balance the hard work you do, because I feel like for some of you guys, even when you dream, like you're doing so much work on the astral plane, you are someone who, even when you seem like you're just resting, laying in bed, you're so spiritually tapped in and tuned in that you're always doing stuff on the astral plane. Even in your relationships, you help guide people, you help talk to people, you're constantly like giving support, giving love, giving guidance, talking people through different situations. So you're actually working quite a lot, even if you aren't employed at the time, or you are, laying on the couch that day. Like, you're still doing so much work. And I feel like Spirit really wants you to make sure you're balancing those parts of your life with fun. So making time to see loved ones, making time to seek out hobbies that really make you feel good, making time to go out exploring and enjoying yourself. But I feel like Spirit is saying that you're almost like a VIP. You know how like when there's a VIP in like, I don't know, staying at a hotel, maybe they're in like the diamond program, loyalty program or something, or yeah, they might pay for a shuttle to pick them up from the airport, or they might, if this is like a company and they're paying for this VIP to like speak at their conference or something, they might fly them out private. They might pay for the first class best seat. They might put them up in the nicest hotel suite and pick them up in a limo from the airport. And they might, take them out to dinner at the nicest restaurant and, give them a gift card to the spa. Like, you know what I mean? Because they want them to be rested, because they want them to be impressed, because they know how important this conference is. And even though they might be like, why are you spending so much money on their plane ticket and on their hotel room? And they're like, it's worth it to me because we want this guest rested. We want them to do a good job. Or if you could think about like a movie star. I just read Elizabeth Taylor's book, and it was crazy the demands she would get the studio to do, or her autobiography, the story of her with Richard Burton called Furious Love, if anyone's curious. But they had the most insane writers. Like, it was like the 1960s, and they'd get paid $1 million per picture, which is like, I don't know, 30 million today or something. And then they'd also get a cut of the profits. They'd get like so many perks. They'd get like, Elizabeth Taylor would get jewels gifted to her. She'd have like these rules about, making sure she had alcohol in her dressing room, making sure she had a private chef. She'd have them rent out a villa for her where she was working. Like when she was in Rome, they had this huge villa with staff. And my favorite, which I think is like, yes, all women should get this, but she was never forced to work on the first 2 days of her period. I was like, oh my God, that's the best rule ever. Love that. We need to bring that one back. But my point is that why were they willing to do all this? Because Elizabeth Taylor was such a huge star and they wanted to get the performance from her. They knew that they wanted her to be able to deliver her best, and they wanted her name attached to it above anyone. And I almost feel like that's your vibe as well. You are someone that like brings so much to the table. You are someone that not anyone could phone it in. Just like Elizabeth Taylor became such an icon because of her acting, because of her star power, because of her good looks, because of her energy and her presence. And not anyone, they couldn't just fire her and be like, oh, we're going to find another cute girl to take over this role. By the same token, you are special and so powerful. Pile number 3. And I feel like your guides are like, you need to make sure you're resting. You need to make sure you're taking care of yourself. They don't want you just phoning it in or burning yourself out. I feel like they really want you to be living a life that makes you so satisfied. So if that's moving to a place that feels more in alignment with you, like moving to a different place geographically, or traveling more, or putting up some kind of boundaries with your schedule, like I'm not working on Fridays, or I'm taking Wednesdays off, or I know that sometimes your job won't let you do that, but you know, I feel like for you, of course, use your intuition. Your intuition in particular is so powerful, pile 3. I know you'll know exactly what you should do, but I feel like this is about you creating boundaries with yourself, about what makes you feel rested, you feel good, and then really stepping towards it. Let me get some message cards for you. For some guidance for pile 3 about the good things, good news coming their way. So we got, oh my gosh, called soul gifts and training. It's time to step up. Yes, this is exactly what I have been saying. We also got this one, messenger, serious energy, bringing harmony and balance. Let's get a couple more cards for you. Pile number 3. This one says the blue flame, spontaneous awakening, activation, integration time. And let's get one more. This one says baby steps, action, follow your intuition before it makes sense. I love that, because I think that's the thing about intuition. So much of the time it doesn't make any sense, and learning to trust that process is so important. But yes, called and messenger, like really you are so divinely called, pile 3. I can just feel that so deeply in you. Like, this is my spiritual pile, and you guys came to this earth with such a powerful mission. You are supposed to ascend. You are supposed to break spiritual bonds and traumas. And to a certain extent, I really think this is also about shining brightly, like putting something out there publicly. If you think of the sun card, like the sun is so vitally important. Even though we have two luminaries, the sun and the moon only reflects the light from the sun. If you could think about the sun, like if it didn't actually work one day, if it didn't shine, if it just suddenly went out, then everything on earth would die probably very, very rapidly. I don't know the exact time frame, but literally all life on earth is dependent on the sun, and the whole galaxy rotates around the sun. And if the sun was just like, oh, I don't feel like showing up, or I don't really feel like doing that much, I don't want attention today, so I'm just gonna kind of like dim myself and like hold myself back, then everything would die. It's the whole life on earth and in this universe is contingent on the sun shining and the sun being willing to burst out its rays brightly. And I feel like that's really what Spirit is calling you on, is like, you don't know how much the collective will benefit from you guys shining bright, from you guys putting yourself out there, from you guys pushing yourself out into the world, as scary as it may be, as much as it may be daunting, as much as you may, worry if you're ready, as much as you may feel like an imposter at times, or like, I can't do this, or like, I'm not good enough. Trust me, you are pile 3. And I feel like the collective is going to benefit so much from you showing yourself and giving yourself and pushing yourself. This is what the collective wants and needs from you. So you need to be willing to step up into it in some kind of public way. You are a messenger. We got serious energy. Maybe some of you guys are Syrians, and you are put on this planet to help ascend everyone else, help everyone grow and mature and learn. I feel like for you guys, you're going through a very powerful activation period right now, and things are speeding up for you, and you are being called more and more and more, and you're going to feel that tugging on your consciousness more and more. As much as you try to ignore it or try to run away from it, trust me, it's not even possible. Pile number 4. Pile number 3, your gift is so powerful that like your guides are not going to let you just hide it away. They are just not going to be down with that, okay? So the quicker you can just embrace that and accept that that's what's going on, the better off you'll be. You also got baby steps, which again, I also feel like that's another message coming through, is sometimes it can feel really scary. Like if sometimes I'll talk to someone in a reading and they might say, well, I have felt called to start a YouTube, but I'm really scared of what people are going to say. And it's like, first of all, trust me, I get it. I've been there. I would think most YouTubers have been there. Because of course, when you first launch a channel, like with a few exceptions, maybe someone who already has a following or whatever, but most of us, there's going to be a few videos where there's like no views, there's no subscribers, and you might even look delusional. Like if someone comes across it that they're going to be like, oh my God, they're posting to 3 people. Wow, that's sad. And of course we can hear that judgment in their voice, and we can imagine all those like mean taunts that they might tell you. But the reality is you have to go through that period. That period is inevitable to get to the good period. And that's okay. Accepting that that's part of the process and just putting it out of your mind and kind of like, okay, whatever, is so crucial to reaching the time when you will have people listening. So never let that fear like hold you back, or that sense of like, yeah, but like I hate that. It's like, yeah, everyone hates that period, but it's an inevitable part. And as long as you don't let it hold you back and you stay in fear, rooted in that place, and you just keep it moving, then you're not going to have to stay there for long. Another message, though, I'll always say is if you're afraid to put yourself out there on YouTube, which I completely get, or on TikTok or whatever, maybe you can find a way to post without showing your face right away. I mean, tarot is great for that, but there's other mediums you could use where you might not have to show your face. You know, there's so many different ways to do that. There's so many different ways to shine your light and share your gift nowadays. With the internet, we have more ability to do that than ever before. So don't let it hold you back. And even if it's a baby step, even if it's a small move in that direction, if that's what you feel called to do, if spirit is pushing you in that direction, then you need to really embrace it and you need to go for it. And I feel like that's what spirit is calling on you, is like, hey, stop holding yourself back. Stop making excuses and just embrace it. Embrace even the fear. Embrace the feeling of like nervousness around it, because that's kind of part of the process too. That makes it fun in a way. That's exhilarating, you know? So maybe you don't feel ready for it now. That's okay. But just take some baby steps. Just push yourself a little bit and start putting yourself out there in some way. If you feel like you're not ready for this change, whatever it is, whether it's putting yourself out there publicly, whether it's moving, whether it's traveling more, but that's okay. But maybe like do a little baby step and start small. If you're going to start traveling around the world, you don't have to fly directly to like Japan, you know, or if you're from the West, Japan would be like complete culture shock. You know what I mean? Or vice versa. If you're from Japan, you don't have to fly to like England on the first time. You could maybe travel somewhere else in Asia. Or if you're from the West, if you're from England, you don't have to fly to Japan right away. You could maybe fly to the US or to Australia or to somewhere else in Europe. So it's more of like a baby step. It's not a complete culture shock where maybe you don't speak the language at all. Maybe it's like, oh, they speak different type of English in America, but I kind of understand the culture. Or if you're from, you know, Japan, maybe you're not going straight to England, but you're going to start off with going to Korea right away, or Thailand, or whatever. You know what I mean? Something that's a little more cross parallel. And it's okay. It doesn't mean you're not going to end there eventually. It doesn't mean that you're going to be stuck there forever. But if you're not brave enough to like fully go for it, that's okay. You don't have to push yourself that far out of your comfort zone, because there's ways to go about it that might not completely scare you. You might feel a little more comfortable, but you're still on that path. You know what I mean? And give yourself that patience, allow yourself that time and that space. So that is what I have for you, pile number 3. I really hope that resonates, guys. If you want to see more of my readings, then be sure to head to my Patreon, where I post all my additional readings. There are over 90 exclusive readings you'll only get access to when you sign up for Patreon, and you also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. So I just posted a reading a little while ago about your future spouse. I can't remember honestly the name of the last video I posted, but there are so many readings that go up all the time. It's hard to keep track. If you're interested in the different titles that I have exclusive to Patreon, then go over and check it out. The link is underneath the timestamps in the comments and the description, and I would love to see you there over on Patreon. Also, if you're interested in booking a private session with me, then you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. Whether you're looking for a tarot reading, an astrology session, a channeling session, or a combination of all 3, you can get that and really customize your session so it's perfect for you. Like I said, at my website, briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is in my description. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm sending you so much love and light, and I will see you again very soon for another reading. Take care, guys. Bye.